Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, September 28, 2017. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. With 31 homicides for the year thus far, the leadership of the opposition New Democratic Party, or the NDP, today called on the ruling Unity Labour Party, the ULP, to demit office over what the party leaders have defined as governmental incompetence to tackle crime in the country. At a media conference at their headquarters, Dr. Godwin Friday says Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves in particular, must take responsibility not only for the good, but also the negative occurrences in the country. Dr. Friday says the ULP administration since 1998 had sworn that they would make the country ungovernable, and now their words have seemingly come to fruition. He also calls on the government to realize and acknowledge the severity of the crime situation, which he says needs to be addressed now.
Now that the ULP hold the reins of government, they find that the chickens have come home to roost and that they are now powerless to do anything about it. How else can we explain their initial silence on the matter and later their response of trying to downplay the situation? By Gonsalves, for example, asking if he must hold a press conference every time somebody is killed. Or Senator Francis saying on radio that the shootings are not intended for innocent persons but are gang and drug related. Does that make it any less of a problem? Do the rest of society, the innocents, throw up our hands, lock ourselves in our homes at night, and let the carnage rage outside? Surely such an approach is an admission of governmental incompetence and failure.
The opposition leader says he is also concerned that members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force are not properly equipped to carry out their duties and are being stifled from operating professionally because of political interference.
That we remove partisan politics from the operation of the police service. Let the police service be strictly professional. There is more that can be said about the conditions of work and housing for the police. But there was a time when you had real Coast Guard vessels patrolling the waters of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now you have speedboats going up and down, you know, with very limited capability. I'm sure that the Coast Guard must feel that they're being asked to do a job that they're not equipped for. So let's equip them. If it's a problem that affects the very integrity of our country, then it's a problem that worth putting the resources in to have it dealt with. And we don't see that happening now in this present administration. We don't see the sense of urgency. We are being told to keep to our side of the street and let the bad boys and girls go somewhere else. That cannot be a solution for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It affects us in every single way. It affects our economy. It affects us as people, how we view ourselves. It affects how other people view us in the region.
And the opposition member of parliament for Central Kingstown, St. Clair Leacock, says the RSVG police force must be more practical in its analysis and tackling of crime in this country. Leacock believes that the police are using what he terms as semantics, while the criminals are carrying out offences. He is also of the outlook that Government Minister Julian Francis was correct when he stated earlier that there are gangs perpetrating crimes in the country.
But if he tells you that there are gangs, believe him. So I repeat that. If Minister Francis says that there are gangs, believe him. And if he tells you, what are the root causes for these killings, also believe him. My own views is that the police have to move away from the semantics. If we stick to the academic and intellectual description of what constitutes a gang, a unified body of people wearing same uniforms, common objectives, responding to rules and regulations, which is typically the formal design, then one would want to conclude that they are not gangs.
The opposition MP further reiterated that something must be done to combat crime in the country, particularly to gun-related crimes.
But if you go by the empirical experience and take a practical approach to what has happened, how do you explain 4, 5, 6 or 7 young people join together to kill a young lady? It means that there is some commonality in their approach. If you look at what happens ever so often at Carnival and other cultural events where people would attire themselves in the same uniform, it means they are of the same view and of the same mind with respect to that particular activity. If you listen carefully to Minister Francis again, which says that the number of the incidents of crime is related to tough war with respect to coke and so on and so forth, then it means a sufficiency of numbers of people are functioning with the same accord. And the clear explanation for that is that if it's not gang, it is gang-like. But I think Minister Francis is very precise in what he's saying. He's as close to the source as you would get. Believe him.
Minister of Transport and Works Julian Francis is defending the government's input in the fight against crime in this country. Francis, who was on Star FM on Tuesday, said that the ruling Unity Labour Party administration has increased training for officers to improve their operations. He also stated that police officers have been equipped with the necessary tools and transportation to help them combat crime.
Well, we know that the government has contributed and invested significant resources into the police force. Not only have we increased the number of policemen in the country, not only have we increased the training of policemen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I think generally the policemen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are doing their jobs fairly well. The force is now equipped with more vehicles, more guns, bigger guns too. You don't know when the police get guns. You see them out on the road with them. When Black Squad was put in place, I think it's the first time men used to see the size of guns that police have. But they tell you that some of the men out there got guns as big as or bigger than the policemen.
The government minister is of the view that persons caught up in the recent spate of gun violence are themselves involved in criminal activities.
There are some criminal elements in the society. I mean, the last time we had an upsurge of this kind of killing that we have experienced over the last couple of weeks was when there was some disappearance of some stash of coke. And every weekend somebody else was getting shot because this one was squealing on that one, this one was a snitch, and this one had it locked up, and this one sell it to this one, or this one hide it. Again, what is the cause of it? These are criminal activities. Weed. Coke. Then you have the gangs operating tough war. You touch me, you kill somebody for me, I coming back for you, whether it's night or day. But one of the things we have to say in this and see in this is that persons who are being shot and killed in this are not innocent persons. They are involved in one way or the other. There haven't been a lot of shootings and killings. There have been one and also in between.
The Pan Against Crime Committee, in collaboration with the National Commission on Crime Prevention and the RSVG Police Force, will stage a series of Pan Against Crime concerts in a build-up to its 10th anniversary in February of 2018. The first of these concerts will be held this Friday, September 29th, commencing at 5:30 p.m. at the vacant area next to the General Post Office in Kingstown. Symphonic Steel Orchestra and the Police Band will provide music. The second concert will be held on Friday, October 13th at 5 p.m. at Arnesvale at the area adjacent to the building which houses Manor Restaurant. Windfresh Southeast Steel Orchestra and the Police Band will provide entertainment there. Representatives of organizing bodies will bring brief messages at the concerts. The brainchild of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, the Pan Against Crime program, was started in February of 2008, establishing 13 new steel bands in communities and schools throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With assistance from the Embassy of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Petro-Carib, and the National Firearms Board, the Central Leeward Secondary School is the latest recipient of PANs from the PAC program. Other PAN concerts will be staged in the upcoming months as the committee prepares to celebrate its 10th anniversary in grand style. Persons wishing to utilize drone technology are being encouraged to collaborate with the Director of Airports in order to ensure the safety of aircraft within SVG's airspace. In an interview with SVG-TV News on the issue, Director of Airports Corcel Robertson said drone use is a relatively new issue which was brought to the authorities' attention when a drone crash-landed at the now-defunct E.T. Joshua Airport, prompting safety concerns.
They were observed being flown near to the airport at E.T. Joshua late in the evening. In one case, the drone actually went out of control and fell within the compound. And when that happened, it was brought to my attention by the duty controller. We recovered the drone and we recognized that while drone is modern technology and it's quite useful in many, many ways, that there is a potential safety risk with its operation when it comes to the operation of aircraft. And that prompted me to get in touch with our regulator, which is the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, and bringing the matter to their attention, requesting that some collaboration take place in relation to the terms and conditions under which they would operate, because our main primary focus is safety. That resulted in a meeting with local stakeholders in the Eastern Caribbean in 2015, and during that meeting we came up with some general guidelines as to how we would proceed.
Senior Airport Officer Delette Davis made it clear that international standards require that countries ensure all aircraft, manned or unmanned, have permission to operate in their airspace and must also provide a system to ensure safety. Davis took the opportunity to shed some light on the requirements needed to operate a drone in SVG.
And you put in a request that says, look, I want to operate a drone, and then you come, you sign an agreement that says that you would respect all the regulations, anything that is asked of you, you would comply with, and then you go on, you give certain information, manufacturers, the name of the manufacturers, the type of drone, the specifications behind it, and that sort of information. And then you proceed, once all that information is given, you proceed now to where you want to operate.
The senior airport officer encouraged current and prospective drone operators to collaborate with the relevant authorities and highlighted some of the dangers associated with drone operation.
We urge that people see the seriousness of this. The Argyle International Airport has just been opened, and we know the trust in tourism, and it just takes one incident with a drone and a carrier, and it would mean the drone operators, that incident would mean could cause, apart from the, if it's serious enough, it could cause the death through collision, but it could also mean the authorities saying no more drone operations. It could cause an airline to say, look, it's not safe to operate into Argyle. They have issues with drone and so forth. So we urge that everybody come together, we sit down, because we don't just want to put some regulations and say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We want everybody to sit down, what do you think about this, how best we can.
Minister of Tourism and Culture Cecil Sesmaki has expressed confidence that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is en route to significant growth from its cultural and tourism attractions. Now being added to the culture calendar is the Everything Vincy Independence Festival, which Minister Mackey and the organizers say will be an added boost to the independence celebrations.
According to this country's Tourism and Culture Minister, Cecil Mackey, there is no doubt that a breath of life will be given to the month of October from 2018 and beyond, with more cultural events and the expected influx of visitors to the island. Giving remarks at the recent media launch of the newest event to be added to the Independence celebration activities, the Everything Vincy Independence Festival, Minister Mackey said the festival creates a great avenue to market the Vincy brand.
Of course, it would give us an opportunity to reflect, as the team suggests, all things Vincy, everything Vincy, to show what St. Vincent and the Grenadines has to offer. I think that there's a new interest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and there is a new interest in the tagline Vincy, and therefore we'll be able to, through this mechanism, be able to promote both things, the destinations in Vincent and the Grenadines and the brand Vincy.
Noting that the month of October is already packed with activities put on by the Independence Organizing Committee through the Department of Culture, Mackey added that the inclusion of other events will in fact attract more attention to the month.
So if you add to that the school's Independence Parade, the National Independence Parade, the various other activities that will be taking place throughout the month in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you add to that the National Lotteries Authority, Independence International Masters Cricket Festival, and we hope to have 7 teams coming from overseas and another 5 locally, so it will be a 12-team competition. You can see that the month of October is indeed a full month from 2017 going forward.
Expressing the ministry's elation to be on hand with the Everything Vincy Independence Festival, Mackey said there is indeed potential to making October a special month for tourism and cultural activities.
Which would allow persons from the region and hopefully later on as the activities grow, international participants coming into the country to be a part of this festival, that it will create a platform for whether individuals or groupings of persons to be encouraged to put on activities. So I suspect that what is going to happen here is that you will see additional life being breathed into the month of October from 2018 going forward.
The Everything Vincy Independence Festival will run from October 21st to 29th and is expected to be a unique Vincentian tourism product. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Meantime, PRO of the Everything Vincy Independence Festival Steering Committee, Keisha Phillips, highlighted the activities undertaken thus far to sensitize the Vincentian public on the upcoming festival.
On the 1st of September, if memory doesn't fail me, not having any senior moments yet, we would have put on the first road show from Kingstown down to the leeward side of the country to promote the festival. And we ended up at the Bag of Fish Fest that night, where we supported the folks in Barley. And they too have been invited to come and participate in Everything Vincy. As you know, as the name says it all, it's Everything Vincy, so we're hoping to have them on board. This coming Saturday, the committee would put on our second roadshow, which leaves Kingstown at about midday, heading towards the windward side of the country, where more promotions would be done so that more people would be sensitized about this independence package and what's to come.
Phillips extended a call to the corporate sector to get more involved with the initiative.
And we're really hoping that Vincentians would come out and support, in particular, the business sector or the private sector, so to put it. From the list that you've heard outlined, you know, this is not a cheap program to put on. And we're really still appealing to the private private sector to support us as much as possible so that we can make this not only an exciting event but a very successful one that patrons from across the region and in the diaspora can look forward to coming to every year once it's October.
Chairman of the committee, Sanjay Jandani, also expressed hopes for a greater involvement of the private sector partners and noted that they will be adding more sporting activities to the festival in the coming years.
To do this festival did not restrict the sporting activity to motorsport. We are launching that this year because at the moment the time was such that we couldn't get other sports involved at the moment. The motorsport will be the first year's activity. Hopefully from next year we can include 1 or 2 other sports into the whole festival so that they can also have activities throughout. I've spoken to 1 or 2 people as well from different sporting organizations, and they're looking forward to doing something next year. So.
Persons who are overweight and are trying to live a healthier life are being encouraged to make a conscious effort to be more active as well as make small lifestyle changes. This encouragement comes from Pauline De Freitas, Managing Director of Health Solutions, Inc., as she spoke with SVG-TV News. De Freitas said, as persons get older, they become less active, which can affect their health, and encouraged those who are overweight to make a conscious effort to get active.
All these things I think you have to keep in mind, and I think anyone who is overweight, I think what they have to do is you have to look at your everyday lifestyle that's causing you to get to that and make the little adjustments along the way and make it slowly. What happens is a lot of people you have who are, obese or overweight, and they go on these massive diets and they shrink really fast, but they can't maintain what they were doing before. So the minute they go into natural or their usual way of eating, that weight comes right back on. So I think what people have to do is, for your individual self, is look at what you're eating and what in your diet is it that you can make the necessary changes to actually so you could stick to that lifestyle and change it. For you to be better at a better health, it has to be a lifestyle change. It can't be a temporary thing. You have to be mindful that this has to be a long-term goal and not just a short-term goal for it to be successful for you.
The Managing Director of Health Solutions, Inc. also appealed to parents to help their children develop a greater appreciation for healthy foods.
This is a very serious matter, and non-communicable diseases no longer know age. They don't stop anywhere. It does happen to the young, and I think for also parents who are raising children, you want to start them at a young age to be able to appreciate water, to appreciate milk, to appreciate fruits and vegetables as part of their diet, so that as they get older, they continue with these habits so that they actually can get a healthier lifestyle in the long run.
Internationally designated as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, various agencies and groups during the month of September come together to host a number of activities to bring to the forefront the issue of prostate cancer. Here in SVG, the local medical association has over the years encouraged persons to become more aware of the illness. As part of the awareness activities, the association will this Saturday, September 30th, host a tug-of-war competition at the Victoria Park. Speaking with SVG-TV earlier today, President of the SVG Medical Association, Dr. Rosalind Ambrose, said they are encouraging the general public, particularly males over the age of 45, to seek greater knowledge about the prostate cancer and to get tested on a yearly basis.
We drive awareness for having pap smears in women to see if there's any, problems leading to cervical cancer, and we have the screening for breast cancer as well, for mammography and so on. We would like men to take a greater initiative, pay more attention to having this done so that we wouldn't have such a high statistics of males affected by prostate cancer. So by the time the prostate cancer is recognized, it's fairly advanced, and it makes for a poorer outcome when the disease is quite advanced. So the aim of the Medical Association is to build a public awareness that men should have, over 45, should have an annual checkup that includes examinations that are specific for the prostate gland, which would be basic rectal examination as part of their physical, have the blood test. There's a particular blood test for measuring the prostate gland's activity, and certainly the physician may choose to have the ultrasound done, which will measure the volume of the prostate gland.
Dr. Ambrose gave an overview of the fundraising event slated for this Saturday.
And we've invited groups of people from clubs, organizations, schools, secondary schools, the tertiary level institutions, companies, community groups to get together and present teams, bring teams of about 8 to 10 people to participate in the tug-of-war competition. It's to be at the Victoria Park. It will begin, we want to have the first tug from about 4 o'clock, but prior to that we'll have a barbecue, which is our fundraising event to help to build our funds that we use to help patients who need to go abroad or need to buy medication or pay for laboratory tests. And so that's what our fundraising does in prostate and breast cancer. And so we'd like as many groups as possible. There's a community group, and you got 5, anywhere from 8 to 10 guys. Mixed teams can enter.
Using the tagline, "We are tugging against prostate cancer," the Medical Association president further urged the Vincentian public to come out and support the initiative.
So it's a fundraising activity, and we really want to have a good turnout. We have some teams that have committed already, and we wrote to a number of groups, but we've not had all of them respond. Certainly a number of them have responded, and so we'd like as many people as possible to come and participate in this event. The winners, well, certainly we've got lovely trophies that are tug-of-war specific trophies, and so we are encouraging groups to come and gain so-called bragging rights for being the team that tugs the best at this prostate cancer tug-of-war competition. At the gate, we're asking for a $1 contribution, because we're trying to help to build our funds. Certainly, if you've bought a barbecue ticket already, that allows you in.
Chair of the Caribbean Regional Network of Persons Living with and Affected by HIV/AIDS and civil society representative Vincentian Winfield Tanis Abbott is presently in Jamaica representing the region at the Caribbean Vulnerable Communities Coalition, or CVC, Regional Civil Society Forum. The forum is being held under the theme Caribbean Civil Society Learning and Building Together. The objectives of the forum are to create a deeper understanding of the legal situation in the Caribbean as it relates to key populations and developing strategies for addressing legal challenges. Tanis Abbott will be involved in a panel discussion addressing stigma and discrimination. He will also participate in a peer assist, engaging communities, where he will speak on working together to build and maintain networks. Tanis Abbott will then travel to Haiti as part of a UN/AIDS high-level meeting, which will look at the environmental scans and needs assessments of Haiti regarding HIV/AIDS, where he will be sharing a report at the UN/AIDS Latin Caribbean Forum to be held from November 6th to 8th of 2017 in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. He will also be traveling to the Dominican Republic to meet with people living with HIV/AIDS to have discussions related to antiretroviral drugs and other issues related to HIV/AIDS.